Hi, I'm Liz and welcome to Liz's lovely allotment. It's early March 2025, a beautiful spring day, and I was going to show you around my allotment, show you what my plans are for the rest of the year and see what's growing. So let's take a tour. So here we are at the gate of my allotment. My allotment is in my garden. I had an allotment at a normal allotment site for many years, but I was lucky enough to be able to buy a garden that was big enough to split up so that I was able to have half as a normal garden and then half as my allotment. So just do a quick tour around so you can see the setup, and then we'll talk through and walk through all of the different bits and pieces that I've got going. So I have chickens for a start, which is why a lot of my allotment is sectioned with gates so I can keep the chickens out, because much as I love them, they will eat everything that I possibly try and grow. Oops. And there's an argument going on because there's 6 new chickens that we added yesterday. So the old ones are establishing their pecking order. So first of all, as I walk through the gate, I have the compost bins. Now I put the compost bins here because this is an area that the chickens will always be allowed access to, and they absolutely love rootling around in the compost bins. I built these myself out of pallets. It was a Christmas project, so we did it in the cold and the wet weather, but it wasn't difficult to do. 2 big compost bins with planks that can be added in. So these are just loose, and then they can just be added in as the compost gets higher and higher. And then over on the left hand side here, I have a carrot bed that I built out of sleepers. So I'm currently in the process of constructing, this is loose. I'm currently constructing the screen to go around the carrot beds. And then this will be covered in a white mesh, just a fibrous membrane to stop the carrot fly, because carrot fly can't fly above 2 feet. So I always put a screen around it, and it gives you a fighting chance of keeping your carrots. Otherwise, you dig them up and they've all been munched by the carrot fly. I have 3 raised beds here, which are just pallet collars. I don't do a lot of raised bed gardening. I tend to do traditional gardening in the soil, but there are certain things that are just easier to control and cover if they're in a raised bed. So I will use this for things like lettuces, cabbages, and I'll be making a hoop tunnel to go over the top of it with netting on it, because otherwise my lovely girls, who you can see in the background, will have an absolute field day eating everything that I've tried to grow. And we'll walk down here. This is the chickens area, so the chicken house and the chickens shelter. And then I have a gate. As I mentioned, I have quite a few gates, and that's purely for the chickens. If I didn't have chickens, I wouldn't have the gates. Okay, coming into the main allotment. This is an old polytunnel that I bought from one of the cheaper sites. It's not particularly robust, and I'm going to be reinforcing it with some wood, but that's going to be covered in a very, very fine membrane, and will be a brassica cage, so that hopefully again I can stand a fighting chance of keeping my brassicas and not losing them to the white fly, the slugs, and any other pest or creature that decides that they'd like to take a munch on it. Now this is my bean tunnel. Hopefully you can see that. It's such a lovely bright sunny day. But the bean tunnel I only built last week, and I've done a instruction video that I'll be uploading, so you'll be able to follow how we built that. And that's really, I'm fantastically pleased with that. It's really, really good, and I'll be using that to grow my runner beans, French beans, and sweet peas over. As we walk down, this is just a manured bed that the chickens are having an absolute joy on, with a bit of cardboard on it. That's just been chucked on there, so that's just me being messy. But that's just manured, waiting to be dug, and then my potatoes are going in there. And then on this side here, again, it's just a bed that will be dug, and there'll be things in there like courgettes, sweet corn, any plants that grow better going in soil. All of the brassicas, as I mentioned, will be going in the brassica cage. And then behind me, I have a fruit cage, which again is a work in progress. This allotment had to be completely dismantled last year and redone because we had some building work done at home. So this is the new improved allotment. That will be my strawberry bed. My raspberries are in. Hopefully you can see the raspberry canes that are in there. And then I've also got in that bed there, that's a raised bed because the soil is ericaceous soil, because the blueberries like an acidic soil. So there's blueberries in that raised bed there. Okay, and then we walk through yet another gate, and this is what I call my utility area. This is where I can do all my potting. I have 2 repurposed greenhouses that I got off a well-known site that offers things for free or for a minimal cost. I've got a couple of cold frames, again, that have been donated from people. I've got a potting bench here that I made myself out of pallets. And this hole here, I put a plastic tray in there and with my compost in, and it just saves you breaking your back to go down and get your compost out. So when the tray's in there, the compost will be in there. At the moment it's a bit of a mess because it is still early in the season. And then another potting bench over there, another cold frame, and another greenhouse. Now this is a heated greenhouse. I only heat one because obviously it's quite expensive to keep the heating running in here. But this is where everything is that is needing to be kept warm. So as I've mentioned, it's the 2nd of March today. It is gorgeous, and the temperature in here is currently at 33 degrees. I've got a temperature gauge up there, so it's 33 and the window is open. But last night it was -2. So you do need the heating for anything that's a bit tender. I've got some chilies on the go. I've got peppers on the go. There's nasturtiums there. This is a summer cabbage. And this just popped up last night. This was not here yesterday. Isn't nature wonderful? So the cabbages are up and they'll be moved out because they don't need the heat. Once they've started, I'm going to move them into somewhere a bit cooler because that's too hot for them in here. In these pots here, I've got begonias, the bulbs, so hoping that they will come up, and that will save me a lot of money buying begonias. In these here, that's a chilli. They're doing very nicely. Some of them have been moved on already. And there's some peppers in there. And then over here we've got sweet peas on the go. Again, they're going to come out and go somewhere a bit cooler. It is extremely warm in here at the moment. These are sandwich boxes that people use for like mobile sandwiches if you have a caterer in and you want somebody to bring sandwiches or cakes in. And somebody offered these to me and I thought, well, they are going to be brilliant for keeping your plants nice and cosy. So in here I've got petunias. Now I'm not a particularly good petunia grower. Every year I try and every year I have limited success, but I'm trying again this year. More nasturtiums over there because I want the garden full of flowers this year. Peppers, aubergines and chilies over here. Pot of corianders on the go. These are melons. So there's 2 different types of melons there. I'm going to have another go at melons. Did it last year. They did germinate. I did manage to get them germinated, but they didn't mature because I didn't give them long enough, so that's why I started them earlier. In here, one lone something. That's either a pepper, a chilli or an aubergine. There's aubergines there, and again it's either a chilli, a pepper or an aubergine in there. More petunias. Now these ones have actually worked quite well. Trying all sorts of different ways for the petunias, but again, can you see? They have germinated. So hoping that I can get them to go nicely. And that's another pot of petunias. They haven't germinated yet. This is an experiment. This was just a pepper that I got from the supermarket. I scraped out the seeds and I just chucked them in. I thought we'll see what happens, and there they all are, popping up nicely in their nice warm cosy house. Cucumbers I've just started there on a heat mat. They're not through yet, but they won't be long. And I've got more aubergines in here. They're not through yet, but again they won't be long. And then this one here, which is a heated propagator, I've got more petunias. Hopeful that they will come through as well. So that's that greenhouse. Very, very hot in there. Bought a couple of trees. I'm a sucker for a bargain, and these came up on my feed for a £5. So what do? You buy them. And then I've also put this poly up. This is my poly that I got from a very well-known poly manufacturer, which was absolutely brilliant. I've got my orange tree in here. As you can see, I'm in Essex, and look at that, covered in lovely oranges. And I've also got a lemon over here, which is very healthy but no fruit on it. I'm trying parsnips in toilet rolls. I've had some come through already. They've gone in the ground, so we're giving those a go. That's the tray that I was talking about that I pop into the potting bench. I've got sweet peas coming along very nicely, thank you. And then in here we have broccoli. I've got lettuce that's all popped up. I've got broad beans in there that are really doing well. They've got a tiny little bit of black on them because I made the stupid error of letting them get frost. But this one, they all got frost and they're coming on fine. So I think they'll be okay. I think they're going to survive. And then a pot of dill on the go. I tried an experiment with early potatoes. I put those in January time, I think. Kept them in the greenhouse. They did nothing. They're still doing nothing. So not sure when you see all these lovely picters of potatoes coming through in March and April whether they're actually genuine. Potatoes in that one as well, but again doing nothing. And then I've got overwintering geraniums over here that I cut down from last year's hanging baskets. Some have survived, some haven't. Some are really healthy, showing up green shoots there. Lots of green shoots coming on some of these. Some of them look deader than the dodo, so they didn't work then, but never mind. And lavender again, because I want lots and lots of interest for my pollinators. So that's my lovely allotment. Hope you've enjoyed looking around, and there'll be more videos how to do the bean tunnel, the carrot screen that I'm making. I'll be uploading and putting bits and pieces on, which hopefully they'll be useful, especially if you're a new gardener. It's a wonderful thing to have an allotment. It's a wonderful thing even if you've got just a tiny window box just to grow something. It's amazing. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't done already. Hit the subscribe button and I'll put more videos on as and when. Bye.